Welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Dave McLauchlan, and my guests are Vince Stefano and Prue Neiberding from Youth for Life. Welcome back to the program, guys.
Thank you.
Prue, can you tell us about what exactly Youth for Life's statement of purpose says?
Yeah, our motto, or what we're about.
Yeah.
I do have it here actually, because we've got quite a few points to run through. But I thought I'd read this out for you so you see, exactly what Youth for Life is about. So we have, we're sort of multi-purposed, with the street activism obviously being a big one, and the education, and we also go outside the clinics to counsel women as they're going in. But our message is really to try and get as many people involved in pro-life activity as we can. So a couple of the things that we've got written down for our statement of purpose are to provide an opportunity for the youth of Victoria to participate in work of a voluntary nature through organised programs. So nobody in Youth for Life gets paid for anything, for any of their activities. They're all just doing it, on a voluntary basis to try and help the women and children of our state. We develop and maintain educational programs. We've got things like Just the Facts educational program, and we try and get out there with those kind of messages. Go and do. I've got a couple of bookings around the state where I go and speak to different groups of young people on this issue. So it's really educational purposes as well. And we also provide things such as books and films, and we try and give out a lot of free things to people so that they can become more educated on the issue. So we've DVDs, pamphlets, we give them out to interested schools and individuals and other organisations.
What sort of response do you get from the groups of young people you go to talk to?
Well, it really varies. Sometimes, obviously, you can have a negative response, but I think, you have to keep on pushing there and really talk to the people, because I think the negative response is really a cultural thing. Like, we've accepted that this is okay here in Australia, but and it can be unpopular if you're kind of pushing the issue and saying, well, hang on, did you consider this, or did you consider that, or and really talking to people from a more of a scientific point of view. So obviously, you can receive a bit of negative response, but then again, we're receiving a lot more response from young people who I really think look at you and go, these young people are bold in their approach, and they're prepared to put themselves out there, and they're prepared to face unpopularity. What are they talking about, and how can I get involved in this? And I think that young people are encouraged when they see other young people really standing up for what they believe in, So that is something obviously that we push as well. So we also provide information to the public. If we're going out and we're doing a picket, or we're out on the streets doing anything, we try and have leaflets and things to give to people. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is why we do it. This is what happens during an abortion. This is how. These are the things a woman can suffer in the aftermath of an abortion, and things like that. So to really try and educate, everybody on what the story is. We also publish we send out a blog. We have a blog, and we also send out emails to people to let them know of all the different things that are going on. And actually, we have a website which is www.youthforlife.com.au, so do check us out on the website, and you can sign up for our newsletters and things through that as well. We also work with our pro-life politicians to really get more candidates in that are pro-life, and we support obviously any appropriate legislation which will see us as a pro-life state, a pro-life country. So it's really just the thing that we're about is getting as many people involved at a grassroots level as we possibly can.
Vince, can I ask you, what exactly is the state of the law in Victoria?
Currently, last year a piece of legislation was introduced into the Victorian State Parliament, which ended up being passed and made law. And so effectively now what happens is that it is perfectly fine for a woman to have an abortion in the state. It is perfectly fine for a woman to have a late-term abortion. Abortion is now made law right up till birth. So a baby, which is no different to being a newborn, can be aborted. Also, there is another point in the legislation which takes away from doctors and nurses their conscientious objection to abortion. A right and a freedom which I certainly believe they are entitled to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the opposing side is all about pro-choice. So it seems quite strange that they take away the choice of the doctors to decide whether they were.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, if
on for
doctors,
abortion.
if doctors won't participate in an abortion, they can lose their license. They can get into a lot of trouble. In fact, here not long ago, I know that a pro-life doctor who actually had on his window, "I will not refer for abortions," somebody came and smashed the windows and stuff like that. So really, they have not only stripped away the rights of our unborn, so that it is legal to kill a child right to 9 months. It's just on the signature of 2 doctors. They could be 2 abortion doctors, and sure, they're not going to say no to that because it's big bucks to be doing a late term.
Yeah.
But also, our doctors who refuse to participate are victimised, and as the law stands, they can be struck off the list, off the medical register, and no, you're not to practice anymore because you're denying women the right to kill their children. So, I think we now have the most liberal abortion laws in the world here in the state of Victoria. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Youth for Life are really focused on trying to get that turned around,
Do you think that it's possible to turn that around, particularly after seeing your experience in Ireland? Do you think it's possible for our culture, which Ireland and us are both part of Western general culture, to actually go back the other way?
Well, I think in terms of Ireland, they've obviously got off to a flying start and they've managed to keep it out for as long as they have. Whereas here, we've now got an enormous job on our hands because we have the most liberal law in the world. But with Youth for Life, we're receiving more and more interest from young people as we get out there more and more. And, I think if the young people can really stand up and be a voice, then we have more and more chance of turning the bill around.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I think one of the main problems is that the pro-choice side has worked about in such a secretive way. Following the weeks that the bill passed, I was meeting people in the streets of Melbourne who hadn't even heard that such a bill was even introduced into the state parliament. And so, yes, they've gone about it in a very sneaky way. And so I think once that the truth is revealed to people in the abortion industry and what takes place and what happens, what it really is, the more people realise this, the more they will turn to the pro-life side, and that is when we will start to see things turn around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the media won't report that it's right up to 9 months. Then they're not going to report how it's done or why it's done or there's no pain relief or anything. They just say, it's been decriminalised. So in the average person's mind, if they're not going to go and look it up and really find out, it's just a word really to them. And so they have been quite sneaky in the way they have really misreported or not reported what this bill has actually done and the dreadfulness of this bill. Like, I think the average Australian, whether they consider themselves, pro-abortion or not, isn't going to stand for the killing of 9-month-old children. That's just crazy.
On that note, we have to go for another break. Okay. You're watching Spirit of Life. We'll be back in a moment.